I was going to try it just to see if this
Just to see?
Yeah, it doesn't. So I can put it out of the way.
Check. Here I am on the... No, I can't do anything. I can't.
I thought you were about to flow.
I can't, dude.
Come on, man. I thought you had this.
I am completely white. I can do the music part. By the way, I got my keyboard out, and I've been dabbling a little bit. So hopefully...
Dabble.
I'll be able to start doing our own music.
That'd be nice.
This is the Always More podcast.
Hello and hello. It is July 21st. Welcome to the Always More podcast, where we believe that there is always more room at the table for honest questions, meaningful conversations, and deeper understandings. Today on the pod, we're going to be talking about Loki, leopards on the loose, hypothetical nightmares, time travel, and so much more. But first, have you guys seen my shirt? It's Street Fighter 2.
Dude, Street Fighter!
Right? This was like one of my favorite games of all time growing up.
It was one of those games that I only played when I went to the arcade, because I just, that was the only thing. That was the only time I ever had it. But yeah, it was fun.
It was a great game. How are you doing today, Tim? My best friend, my co-host, my shining star in the night sky.
My goodness. I don't feel like a shining star right now. My nose, okay, here's what happens, okay? Every summer, usually it's at the beginning of summer, I experience allergies, like severe,
right.
I can't breathe kind of allergies.
Since the day I met you, yes.
Right. And usually that happens in June. And this year, because I'm assuming global warming, it didn't happen.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It's probably because of global warming.
And so, I thought, okay, cool, I got to pass this year. Perfect. Great. No, it decides to hit me today.
Right.
Past 2 days, really. But really, today, I woke up, I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to die. So if you hear sniffles and asthma attacks, that's what this is.
We'll edit out if you die.
Right. As I would hope you did.
I'll just keep the pod going. It'll just be me. People are going to be like, what? Wasn't there another guy
Where'd he go?
on this podcast? He said he was going to be back for the final thoughts. I haven't heard from him. We should check in on him.
Your final thoughts is the eulogy.
Those were indeed his final thoughts.
But I'm doing good, man.
All right, good. Well, today we are going to do something a little different. We're going to skip our Wreck and Rev because that is going to be our main segment.
Pretty much, yeah.
This entire podcast episode is going to be a Wreck and Rev for a new movie that came out recently.
Yeah.
Massive spoilers ahead. So
massive.
If you have not seen this movie, this piece of art, really, I loved it, to be honest.
Let's save it for the main segment, but okay.
If you haven't seen it, we'll get to it. Just be warned, there will be spoilers.
There will be massive spoilers.
Massive and major. Majorly massive.
Majorly massive.
Massively
I like that.
Major. All right. But before we do that, let's go ahead and do a quick segment. Happy Hour.
Hey! How about that for new music?
Let it play again.
Here we go. A little louder. Yes. Come on.
Is that it? It's just like 3 seconds?
Yeah. I mean, that's how most of this stuff is supposed to be.
Yeah, we should loop it for 20 seconds.
Really? I made the other 3 shorter for you, and now you want this one to be longer? No. If you want it longer, you go out there and make it longer.
Maybe I will.
Okay. All right, so this is just something that made you happy in the past week or two. So should I go first? Do you want me to go first?
Go first,
Tim. The first one, and first one is this show that I truly love. So I'm kind of cheating a little bit with the Wreck and Rev, but I don't care because it actually genuinely did make me happy. Loki.
Yeah.
Did you finish it?
I finished it. It was great.
Yes.
Again, no spoilers because people still haven't seen it.
I will give you guys one more episode to watch the show
before we bust it open.
But this show, I really did like WandaVision, and I really liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But this one gave me all the feels, and it promised some really great things for the future, and so it made me really happy.
Also, there's another season coming out. It's not like the others where it's you have to wait for the movie in 2028.
Yeah, right.
There's an actual second season coming out a lot sooner than that.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah. It made me happy. Jessica and I watched it together. It was kind of like our thing to do every Wednesday night. So, yeah, good, happy things.
Yeah. So, it's a pretty cool show. Time travel focuses obviously on Loki.
That's true. Oh, man, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, right?
Wow.
Oh. You'll see why that's important in like 10 minutes.
That's right. All right, what you got, man?
All right, so the thing that made me happy, actually, I went to IKEA this week with my family because, I'm a dad.
And you lived.
Yeah, I did. We went through the whole store because, you can't just go from entrance to the aisle you need and get what you want and then
of course
leave. You have to like go through all the showrooms and see everything. It's a great business model, by the way.
Oh, absolutely.
But we ended up getting a little toy kitchen for Ellie.
Yeah, I saw that. It's so cute.
And she loves it. Oh my God. It's got like a little pantry and a sink and little.
Doesn't it have working water?
Not yet, but we just got the pump in today. Janelle is going to attach an actual working water pump, and we're trying to do like this Montessori thing, teaching her how to cook.
Yeah.
She's not even 2 yet, but we've seen like TikToks and YouTube videos of people doing that. So they're starting today. That's going to be their thing.
Nice.
When Ellie wakes up from her nap, which should be in the next hour or so, she's going to teach her how to make an omelet, and it's going to be adorable.
Man,
I can't wait for Ellie to
Is
make
she going to
me
record
food.
it?
She has to, yeah.
Yes.
I'm so pumped.
Yeah, put it on TikTok, get famous, get rich, don't have to work anymore.
No, for sure. Dude, if I can coast off of my kids' success, I feel like that's the real American dream.
That is. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, train my children to be better than me and then just live off of their success.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's what I want. So that made me happy, that little kitchen thing, because it made her happy. It's so cute. She's always like, thank you. Every time she plays with it, she'll go play with it and then turn around and just say thank you and then start playing again. And I'm like, you're welcome. You're so welcome.
And that's a great thing as a parent, too, because, I mean, I'm sure all the parents that are already listening to this are like, well, yeah, duh. But you really don't realize, like, a lot of gifts that you get your kids, they don't really, I mean, they'll like it a little bit. For most part, they're like, yeah, whatever. I like the box, that kind of thing. And so whenever they do really like something, like really, really like something, it's like, yes, I'm successfully a parent. I mission accomplished.
I'm adulting. Yeah. So
cool, man.
All right.
Next segment?
Next segment.
That was quick.
Let's fly through these. Let's go. Chop, 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 chop.
All right. So for this next segment, it is one of our favorites. It is
What Did I Miss?
Yes.
Man, that's
I labeled everything, so I hit it first. It's the right time
now.
first.
Yeah. So is that like dry erase or is it
It's
like
a pencil.
Pencil? Okay, so cool. If we need to change it around, we can change it around.
Yeah.
All right. I'm here for it. All right. So what did we miss from you, Tim?
Okay. How would you like to earn money just by pooping?
I would make so much money.
That's what I thought. Okay,
so much money.
Okay, so this story comes in from South Korea.
Of course.
So, of course, using a toilet can pay for your coffee or buy you bananas at the university in South Korea where human waste is being used to help power a building. So, you poop, you earn money, you buy coffee, you poop again. It's a brilliant business model.
Seriously. Like, that's hand over fist making money for sure.
Okay, so I'm going to say this name slowly. And my sister-in-law, Anna, actually lived in South Korea and knows some of the language, helped me say this name. So if I say it wrong, it's still my fault. But she did help me. It's Cho Chai-won. Is a professor and urban and environmental engineer professor at the Ulsan National Institute of Science and Technology.
Unist.
Oh, yeah. And he has designed an eco-friendly toilet called the BV toilet. BV? Yeah, okay. Connected to a laboratory that uses excrement to produce biogas and manure.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So here's how it works. So one, there's a vacuum there, and it basically pulls it out. So it helps save money without using all the water. So, win-win. And it sucks it up down to an underground tank. And then microorganisms then break down the waste to methane, which is used to source energy for the building. So like gas stoves, hot water boiler, et cetera, et cetera. So what happens is I think when I was talking to my sister-in-law about this, she asked me a really important question, which I still couldn't figure it out. Is it only one toilet?
Is everybody using the same toilet?
Right. That's actually a really good question that I couldn't find the answer to. But here's how it works is you go in there, you have like this pass, and every time you use the toilet, you get like currency. And granted, you can only use it at the university, but you use that currency to buy books, to buy snacks, to buy food, coffee, that kind of stuff. But it helps, one, save money, helps power the buildings at the university, but two, it helps students, pay for things.
I would think like it's at least a couple of toilets in the one building.
You would think.
Because, like, there's no way you're making enough to power a building with just one toilet, right?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what...
I mean, unless it's me, like, just sitting there all day, but I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds cool, though. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I mean, poop and make money. That's my dream job.
Like I thought of you when I saw this.
If I could raise my children to be successful and coast off of their success and then poop and make extra money,
absolutely.
That's the American dream.
It's a win-win-win.
That's the American dream.
Your kids are successful, you make money, and you save the environment. Win-win-win.
Come on. Let's do it. That's how we're doing it. That's how we're saving the world.
That's how we're saving the world.
We're stopping global warming.
One poop at a time. Oh, that's going to
be great. All right,
what you got, brother?
So mine is almost as fun. I don't know if you heard about this one, but leopards escape. Okay, so
yeah.
You're familiar with leopards.
I am.
Giant cats, spots, kind of look like cheetahs.
They live on the land.
Climb trees, eat things. Yes. So a leopard escape cover-up at a Chinese zoo yielded a hunt with 1,000 drones and 100 chickens as bait.
Start that one more time, please.
Yeah. Leopards escaped a Chinese zoo.
Yeah.
So they used drones and chickens to find them.
Okay, drones I get. Chicken. Oh, was chicken bait?
Chickens were the bait. Oh! They just released. So 3 leopards escaped from the Hangzhou Zoo Safari Park, and they had been roaming around since April 19th, 2021.
Oh, my gosh.
At the beginning of May, though, there is a Chinese workers' holiday where a lot of people will go do family things. They'll go to zoos. They'll do whatever. So the zoo just didn't report that.
Oh, my gosh.
For 2 weeks. They were keeping it covered up.
No, wait. Are leopards, are they native to that area?
I know they're in Africa and South America.
Because you have tigers in India, so I'm assuming there are big cats around that area.
There are big cats for sure, but I don't know if they're leopards or not.
Okay.
Doesn't matter. The point is, zoo officials denied any involvement in the incident until early May, fearing that the damage to the ticket sales during the Labor holiday. And the park is situated probably about 12 miles away from the nearest city. However,
wow,
if you Google leopards, you'll realize that they travel up to 12 miles a day for food. So, like, they're right there, Like 2 days tops.
They're getting there.
They're there. Oh, man. It's an insane story when you think about it.
Did they catch them?
So the first one they caught. They tranquilized within 48 hours. They tranquilized it, returned it.
Cool.
Perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
The second one, they had to release a pack of hunting dogs, and the dogs actually ended up mauling the leopard. There's footage online.
Jeez.
We're not going to post the footage because it's crazy. But
I didn't know dogs could do that.
They can if they're in a pack. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I guess so. Yeah.
But it now has an injury on its hind leg, and
man.
Chinese version of PETA is like crazy upset about it, and there's all kinds of problems, which
as they should
rightly
be. Yeah.
So. The third one is still out there. They have not found that third one yet.
I'm hoping it went west and just
left everyone alone. You would hope so, but they're raised in captivity leopards.
Oh,
so they don't know if it's alive or not.
Oh yeah,
and if it is, it's hungry and it will strike at anything.
Yeah.
So they actually released. You know how we get our emergency texts and our Amber Alerts and stuff.
Yeah.
They released one to the people in the area that were like, "Hey, if you see this leopard, just put your hands up, back away slowly." And call the authorities.
Could you imagine getting that text?
Do not attack them.
Like just out of the blue, just like, I'm sorry, a leopard?
There's a what in my neighborhood? So all this to say, The search for the third leopard is still going on. It's escalated.
Man.
They've got like 990 drones out just searching all the area. 1,700 personnel, tracker dogs, infrared motion sensors. They've set up shop by like water sources that it might go to just in case.
Smart.
But they appear no closer to capturing this big cat.
Well,
some people are saying maybe it died. Some people are saying maybe somebody caught it and kept it as a pet. Some people are saying it's still out there and it will kill you and your children.
yeah, as it.
So if you're going to China anytime soon, keep an eye out for random leopards. And
Stay clear.
Just hands up, just like a bear, make yourself bigger.
Oh, yeah.
Back away slowly. Don't turn around. Don't run. Don't show it your back.
Don't show the back.
Keep eye contact and back away slowly. As big as you can. That's all you can do.
Got straight up mauled by a leopard.
A mauled by a leopard.
Oh man, what did I miss? Indeed, man, that's so crazy. I mean, literally, even here in the U.S., just think about just one day getting a text like, "Hey, just let you know, there's a random tiger out."
I mean, it happens though. They're like tigers and stuff escape from zoos all the time. Like,
okay, I don't mean to get into this, and I shouldn't get into this because we need to wrap this up.
Do it.
What do you feel like after watching Blackfish? My attitude towards zoos have completely shifted.
Yeah.
The only, just to be completely brutally honest, in general, the only zoos that I'm kind of okay for are those that only accept, what do you call it, like injured or
rescue animals
like that. There's one in Austin that we're going to take Ari to soon that we went to a long time ago. But, yeah, it's just like it's so crazy to think about some of these animals that they raise just to keep animals there.
That's upsetting to me. Like, I understand sometimes the animals are like, you take in a rescue and then it has kids and they're in captivity. Like, they're not going to make it in the wild for sure.
Yeah.
But if you're breeding them intentionally for that purpose, that's problematic. If you don't have enough space for them to live happy lives, that's problematic.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like,
now,
Animal Kingdom at Disney, I'm down with because, like, that place is huge.
Right. I was actually just about to say
that. They take great care of their animals and all kinds of good stuff like that. They have conservation programs and they release animals into the wild. If they find them, they rehabilitate them and then re-release them, stuff like that. But there's a lot of places like Tiger King, like that type of stuff. I'm not down with.
See, I can get behind that. I can get behind like the Jurassic World like size of a park where like you're in those little gyrospheres and you like to go around through the park or whatever.
There are literally 5 movies about why that's a bad idea.
I'm not talking about dinosaurs. I'm just talking about like in general.
All right.
Like
just making sure.
Like if you have this huge area of land where you could just plop down any whatever animal, whether it's tigers or whatever, but that actually fits their.
And then just let nature take its course.
Ooh.
We might see tigers. We might see gazelles. We are definitely going to see something get eaten today.
But
it could be you. It could be you.
I would be okay with that. So at least like they're living in like a space that they're naturally, used to.
Right.
I'd be okay with that. Anyways.
Open environment.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a long tangent that we didn't have to go down, but that was good. What did I miss? Okay, I suck at that. Chris, please do it.
You got it, man. Come on.
No.
Let's try it.
No.
One more time.
I can't even breathe.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
What did I miss?
That's so good. So good.
I'm going to try out for the Hamilton play if they ever do one in the area.
You should.
I might. If they ever do one. If they ever do one, I'll keep an eye on the listing.
Okay. All right, guys. We're about to move on and move forward into the rest of this episode. Next up, the Tomorrow War and time travel. All right, guys, we are back.
Back we are.
Back. So today we're doing 2 things. We are reviewing the movie The Tomorrow War and talking about fake and legitimate time travel.
Fake and legitimate?
Yes, because in the movies, they don't always show what real time travel would look like.
Not that we're actually doing it now.
Well, we actually are doing it now. That's why
we're
yes. I mean, not us particularly at this. Well, actually, depending on your perspective.
Technically, we are time traveling.
Technically, yes.
We're just going forward at regular speed.
True.
And essentially, any time machine is any machine we're with.
Well, we'll talk about this later because I wrote down some scientific facts that I gathered together,
all right.
and we'll talk about that. So we'll just stick to the order, Chris. Stick to the order.
I'm time traveling, Tim.
Okay.
I'm jumping out of order.
So we're going to talk about, this is our first one. This is our first movie review that we're doing. Like, we're going to dive in and discuss this stuff and discuss the movie, which came out just recently, and it's got Chris Pratt. Chris, do you want to do the synopsis?
I will, yeah. So, again, like we said in the beginning, massive spoilers.
Massive.
If you have not seen The Tomorrow War, it's on Amazon Prime. If you have not seen The Tomorrow War, starring Chris Pratt, please
Pause.
it, go watch it, and then come back and
That's
discuss.
right. That's the right order.
Yeah. Or, since we're talking about time travel, listen to this, go back in time to before you listen to our podcast, watch the movie, and then bring that knowledge with you to after and compare the notes.
Yeah, that's some Chris Nolan stuff.
Chris Nolan. Nolan.
Nolan.
That's the adjective version of it. This is a Nolan movie.
I was going to say it's a variant of him.
Speaking of variants,
Yes.
time travel. Anyway, so The Tomorrow War, it's a sci-fi adventure on Amazon Prime about this guy named Dan Forrester.
Yep.
And the rest of the world are shocked when time-traveling humans show up from the year 2051. I think this movie takes place in 2022,
Correct.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So 30 years in the future,
Yeah.
these people come back and they show up in the middle of the World Cup, which is the most watched
Yeah, absolutely.
sporting event in the world. So that's probably the best time to show up if you're going to come back in time and try to talk to everybody,
True.
right?
And I really like that too because they got the time right and everything because it was pushed back or no, it's not pushed back, but it's just it's in Qatar, it's in December, so they had all that correct.
Yep.
I really like
They
that.
planned everything out. I mean, it worked for them,
It
whatever.
worked.
But 30 years in the future, they're in an all-out war against this alien species, and all hope seems lost. So in order to help with that conflict, they come back in time to recruit able-bodied humans, bring them back to the future, and fight this war. And, because it's very obvious that they're time travelers, the world government's okay, I guess we'll help out with this effort. But it becomes a mandatory thing. Everyone in the world is eligible for this draft.
Yeah.
Men, women, old. You have to be older. You can't be a little kid.
Right.
But everyone in the world becomes eligible to be drafted for this future war. And they are sent to the future to fight against the doomed future. Dan Forrester, played by Chris Pratt, ends up teaming up with his father, played by buff J.K. Simmons.
That's right.
Which was insane to me. Seeing him in the tank top, just...
The dude is more jacked than I will ever be. He is
that's
straight
J.
up.
Jonah Jameson.
Yeah.
You understand that,
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah.
He looks like he could physically beat Spider-Man.
I was about to say that. He should be the main villain for the next film.
Right? he might be. But teams up with J.K. Simmons and then scientist Yvonne Strahovski to save the world. She is Serena Joy in Handmaid's Tale. I don't know if you watched that show.
I haven't yet.
Okay. She is Dexter's girlfriend Hannah in the show Dexter.
Did I get there? It's been such a long time since I've seen the show. I
think it was the last season.
Oh, I didn't get that far.
If I'm not mistaken, she was the last girlfriend he had before. Spoiler alert.
Don't spoil. I want to see it.
Okay. Well then,
Don't spoil
it's
it.
been out for a
Don't spoil
decade
whatever
and
you're
a
about to
half.
say. That's fine if I know about her, but
Yeah, she's his last girlfriend.
Okay.
Before the show ends, then. Anyway, she's a great actress, phenomenal actress. So let's get into some fast facts.
Fast Facts. Ding,
We'll
ding,
talk
ding.
about that. The film was made by Paramount Pictures originally for a theatrical release, but due to COVID-19, they sold the movie to Amazon Prime for about $200 million. Was it? I didn't think it was the actual movie. I thought it was part of a deal for $200 million. That movie and a couple of other things. I don't remember for sure.
Maybe. I don't know.
Perhaps.
I need to fact check that.
The point is, it was originally done by Paramount, and then Prime picked it up. It's actually been done since January of 2020.
Kind of like Black Widow and a lot of these other movies that just came out. Yeah.
Time. So it's kind of weird, but also kind of cool that happened.
Right.
And now Paramount has their own streaming service, so I'm betting they're regretting that.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. So the deal must have been made before
they realized that they were doing their own streaming, or before they thought it could be successful. Anyway.
Right.
Truthfully, I probably wouldn't have watched this movie if it were on Paramount, though.
No, I wouldn't have either. No.
I don't have Paramount.
I don't either.
I thought about getting it, and I just never have. J.K. Simmons, who is 66 years old, again, his much talked about buff old man look in the movie, according to director Chris McKay, is actually based on Instagram pictures of Simmons that went viral in 2016.
Have you seen those?
I have.
Dude.
I didn't see them until this movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me find it because I saved it because the dude is, and friends, Google it. Just take 2 seconds and Google the picture that I'm showing Chris right now.
That is insane.
The dude has muscles on muscles.
Or just like go to our show notes. I'm sure Tim will put it in there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it doesn't look natural.
It doesn't. He looks like a legitimate Marvel villain.
I'm here for it though, man. Like I said, if I could watch J. Jonah Jameson just beat the crap out of Spider-Man for a good 3 minutes,
Yeah, I'm down.
I'd be here for it. Not that I want J.K. Simmons, a 66-year-old man, to be beating up Tom Holland, but
Right. But he could, though.
he could. He could. And who's going to say anything
Who's
about
going to
it?
say no?
Oh, man. So, yeah, it's just a bunch of really cool Instagram photos of this crazy ripped old dude who's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
He was Juno's dad, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, that's a classic, man.
Going
Class.
back.
That was good.
I love him. Next one. This was Chris Pratt's first time executive producing on a film. Him and I think there's like one or two other actors that were in the movie were executive producers for this movie.
Yeah.
And it's his first time executive producing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Getting out there.
Chris Pratt said that a few weeks prior to shooting their scenes in Russia, which was actually filmed in Iceland, a couple's bodies had been discovered down a fissure that appeared to be preserved from about 1940.
This is wild.
Like, can you imagine that? Like, hey, we're gonna go film. Can you scout out this location?
Yeah.
And then you get back and they're like, hey, what'd you think about the location? Oh, there's bodies there.
We got to go somewhere else.
What? Yeah, no, there's dead people there. We just found them, 2 of them, from the 1940s. They're just dead, just there, being dead.
It's like
They fell in a crack and died.
It's like a Captain America, except they weren't.
They didn't make it.
They didn't make it.
They didn't have the super soldier serum. They are not about to come back and fight Nazis in modern times. That's not going to happen today.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for those fast facts.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to do just a breakdown and just kind of give you some of the general things that happen, and we'll kind of stop here and there and talk about what we thought about those things, and then at the end we'll kind of just give our general thoughts. So, so the film opens up in December 2022, and Dan has just been rejected a job at a prestigious research center as he and his family are watching the World Cup, which is actually being held Qatar in December 2022. The game is interrupted when soldiers arrive through this wormhole device called the Jump Link and explain to the world that they are from 2051 and these aliens randomly showed up and are about to consume the rest of the human race. I'm going to save my thoughts about that for later.
It's a really interesting theory, like movie trope.
Yes.
That I recently found in a new video game that I really enjoy.
What's that?
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, I've heard about that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a PlayStation exclusive. And in that one, like machines, basically, not aliens, but machines have pushed humans to the brink of extinction. And watching that movie after playing the game is like, oh, that's cool.
But
I hope it's a trope that they use more.
Aren't they just stealing from Terminator?
Yes. But it's not the same types of machines. Like, they're not like humanoid robots. They're, I guess they're just kind of like animalistic. They actually look a lot like the aliens from Tomorrow War. We'll get into that later.
So it's Terminator.
Basically. Anyways.
Okay. So the 2022 humans create armies to send back to the future, but when only 30% survive in just a 7-day deployment, they start a draft. That's horrible. And so, like, and what else happens is they basically, like, the humans start revolting and they start protesting because, like, this isn't even really our war, technically speaking. Why are we sending all of our people out there to die? Which is a legitimate question. That's a pretty hefty toll.
30% survive, not die.
So
30% come back alive.
Yeah.
And that's not including like the psychological damage, the physical damage. There are a bunch of amputees that come back.
Right.
All kinds of crazy stuff like that. And it was like a really insane thing to see.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the time travel aspect in this movie, because it is actually, I will grant them this, it is kind of unique compared to a lot of other movies I've seen about time travel. So it's later explained in the film that they can't actually just pick any random place and time they can go to, but they can only go forwards and backwards 30 years. And they kind of explain it like a boat, like two boats on a river, where you can jump back and forth on each one, but they're both moving forward in time. Yeah. So it's a good explanation. It's actually very unique.
You can jump exactly 29 years from today. So like if we did it, it'd be, well, if you're listening to this the day we release, you jump on Wednesday. 30 years later on Wednesday, you're there. You jump back on the next Wednesday, and then 30 years ago, a week from the day you left is when you come back. Right.
They also can communicate via the wormhole that they create. I have a little bit of trouble with that, scientifically speaking, but, it's a movie, so whatever. And from what I gather, it's linear, like a straight line. So it's not like circular and everything. It's like a straight line. Nothing exactly like when they go back in time, they're not actually changing anything that happens later down the road.
Right.
Right.
I feel like they didn't talk about that enough.
Yes.
I really think they should have talked about that more.
Yeah, there wasn't too much explaining, but from what I can tell, them going back in time didn't change anything in the future. So it doesn't really matter. In fact, we'll kind of get to it in a minute when Dan meets his daughter, but it doesn't really change, him being exposed to all this. It doesn't change what happens to her.
Right.
So, all right. So Dan, who used to be a Green Beret, is suddenly drafted and must leave his wife and daughter behind. He does the whole, I promise to return spill. As he goes in, he finds out that almost none of the draftees are trained at all. Essentially, they're all just throwing bodies at them. I mean, it's just like throw the pawns at them pretty much at this point. An emergency happens, and they're quickly transported to the future, where they're accidentally dropped too high. Yeah, okay. Another little...
That was like an absolutely bonkers scene for me. Like, so intense.
Okay, look. Everyone in that scene should have died. I don't care if they fell in a pool. No, at that height, they're dead.
No. So, actually, there was a Mythbusters thing about this.
I know, and I know what you're going to say. Go ahead. Go ahead.
The first person to hit the water should have died, for sure.
Yeah.
But after that body broke the surface tension. So everyone else that lands in the water should be fine. Theoretically. I mean, obviously it's a rooftop pool, so it probably is only like 3 feet deep. That's definitely not deep enough to survive.
But what's the term called when you reach like the maximum speed?
Terminal velocity.
Yeah. But once you reach that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if the surface tension is broken. That's a lot of weight hitting even broken water.
Yeah, but they're only like 20 feet up.
No, they were higher than that. They were hitting terminal velocity.
They were not hitting terminal velocity. You got to imagine, like, they're going through the wormhole first, so where did the wormhole actually let them out?
Right.
It was probably only like 10, 15 feet above water. It's like jumping off of a high dive.
We're going to have to rewatch this.
He didn't even make it all the way to the bottom until somebody landed on top of him.
Exactly. It was so unrealistic. He was going so much faster than that.
He was not going that fast.
Okay, whatever. It's just a movie. It's a movie.
That's fine, yeah. The one that really got me, though, was the guy, like, as soon as he came out, he hit the side of the building and tumbled down the side. Like, he died immediately on impact. Yeah. But just watching his body roll, I was like, oh, this movie's going to be intense. Oh, my God. That was so crazy.
All right, so let's move on. So they then go on a mission to retrieve some research by some scientists, and this is where we meet the aliens called White Spikes. Chris, what do you think about the aliens?
I thought they were a really cool and unique mixture of, like, the aliens from Aliens. The xenomorphs.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the, what do you want to call them? The White Martians from Martian Manhunter.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of look like that.
Oh, that's a good point. What do you think about that?
It was a really cool setup. I think
it was pretty unique.
I like that.
Like other than that, Aliens, like it was pretty like most Alien movies, like they have them kind of like humanoid and like kind of looking a certain way. But this was like a dog but more intense. And I feel like there's another movie that reminds me. Oh, it reminds me of what is it? What is it? Is it Lord of the Rings? Like those little dog looking things that are not dogs. I don't know. Okay, never mind.
Hunger Games?
I don't know. Oh, actually, yeah, it's not bad. I don't know. Okay, whatever. I'll move on. Okay, so after they escape the facility, they escape the White Spikes, they find themselves on a base in the Dominican Republic, and Dan reports to Colonel Forrester, and a.k.a. his daughter, Murray.
Murray.
Murray?
Murray.
I thought it was Murray.
I thought it was Murray.
Okay, Murray. She reveals to him that in her timeline, he had actually become disappointed in not getting his dream job that he didn't get earlier, and he actually leaves his family and dies in a car accident 9 years later. That's depressing.
So I don't think it had a whole lot to do with just missing out on the dream job. I think he definitely had like some PTSD from the military beforehand.
Oh, well,
and
yeah, it definitely adds to it.
It triggers it, and
I found this a little unrealistic too, because up until this point in the movie, like when you see him back in 2022, he's like totally normal dad. Now, granted, PTSD is PTSD, but he seems like because of his dad, I didn't mention this earlier, but because of his dad basically abandoning his family, you would think he would like not want to do that to his family. I don't know.
It's a weird thing though, because it's definitely like a psychological disorder, PTSD, that can affect you in many ways. And sometimes we end up doing things that we don't want to do because of outside of our control factors, like PTSD. Sometimes we just repeat our family's curses.
That's a good point.
Sometimes things like that seep into who we are as a person, and it just becomes a thing. And then another thing, like when his dad left, he explained it to him, like, the reason I left is because I thought it would be better for you.
Right.
Maybe that's what he was thinking in that timeline for his family. Like, it's better if I leave.
Yeah.
So, maybe. I don't know.
Good point. All right. So moving on. So they go out into this mission to basically trap the female white spike. If I'm not mistaken, it's the only female white spike. Right?
I couldn't quite make that out.
Yeah, they didn't make it clear. But the way the vibe definitely felt that way.
Yeah,
like, this is the one
this is
female.
the only one.
Yeah. So they try to capture her to experiment on her because they have been developing this toxin, this whatever, to kill them. But for whatever reason, it only kills the. It only kills the males, and they need to figure out how to kill the female. Is that what it was?
I think like it kills the males, but since she's like mass producing, it doesn't matter.
That's right. Okay.
Like, as many as they kill, she just mass produces more.
Yeah. So they do end up capturing her, and they bring her to an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, which, kind of cool. It gave me World War Z vibes.
Yeah.
Like big time. Like reminded me of like the city of was it Jerusalem they were in?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Big walls, big security,
multiple
and everything.
layers of defense, land mine, or I guess sea mines.
Yeah.
Because it was out in the middle of the ocean.
Right. So she succeeds in creating a toxin that kills all the aliens, except all of a sudden a horde of all the male white spikes surround and invade the camp, the base, and they basically just wreak havoc. It is like World War Z. Like once they get through the walls,
ants, dude. Like they found out where their queen was.
Yeah, it was horrifying.
They went for it.
So
zero regard for their own lives.
So long story short, the white spikes invade everything. However, Dan is able to time travel back, escape with the toxin. With the is it a toxin? Is it a poison?
Same thing.
Okay, but not before his daughter and the rest of basically all of mankind dies.
Yeah, it's basically just him and the people that were deployed with him that survived the encounter. Some of them, anyway.
Yeah,
and everyone else is dead because that was like the last holdout for humanity.
Yeah, and the jumpling is destroyed. Now, I would like to point out here, they just killed all of those humans for nothing at this point.
Yeah.
That kind of made me mad. Like, there was no payoff for that. Like, all of these humans that were sent to the future to fight their war.
Well, I mean, yes and no. You got to look at it like they weren't really fighting to win the war. They were fighting to buy time.
Oh, to discover the toxin?
Yeah.
Oh.
The more... They were basically just throwing people into a meat grinder.
Yeah.
To slow down the blades of the meat grinder.
Oof.
And it worked.
Okay, valid point.
They got the toxin.
But wait. But were they intending to bring that toxin back so that way they could use it before they got to, like, the horde got too big?
That was always the plan. Miri said that was always her plan.
Oh,
she had that. Like, that was her entire division was made to research how to beat them.
Well, I know that, but like I thought it was just for their timeline.
Well, that's what she was telling everybody, and then when she finally finished it and they were running, she was like, no, the plan has always been for you to take this back.
Oh,
I need someone to take this back. That's your entire reason for being here. And her dad was like, oh, well, yeah, I'll take it back, and then I'll bring you some too. And she was like, yeah, sounds good. But she knew she wasn't going to survive.
Okay. All right.
So
That
she
makes
sent-
that makes
she
me
sent
feel a
it
little bit
back
better.
to stop the stuff from ever happening in the first place.
Okay. All right. Cool. I dig. Okay, so random question. We should have put this earlier. Aaron asked online. He asked us, why didn't they put mattresses under them when they returned to Earth instead of having them fall into cement? Valid question, Aaron.
So they jumped to the future and they fight their war. And technically, they're supposed to drop like 10 feet from the ground.
Yeah.
Which that's not a huge fall. That's like jumping off the first floor of a house. You're fine. But
Sort
when they come back, like they know where they're going to be.
Right.
They see them drop, and then they rush the medical people out to help them. But they just drop them on concrete. Why was there not like a mat or something? Like, for real.
That's a great question, Aaron.
Like, you've just survived 7 days,
Yeah.
the most traumatic experience any human being has ever gone through.
Could have put a cushion down.
Welcome home.
Oh, good point. Okay, so upon his return, he and a few other of his friends, including a high school student, theorized that the white spikes didn't actually arrive in the future, but rather have been frozen in a glacier in Russia and will thaw out in 30 years due to global warming, and thus starting this apocalypse.
I gotta be honest with you, man. That high school kid was my favorite character in the
Really?
entire movie.
Oh my gosh,
I
he
loved
was
it. He was the best. Anybody? Anybody besides Martin?
Oh. All right, so with the help of his father, Dan and a few others go to Russia to take out the dormant aliens before they wake up. When they arrive, they kill a few of them with the toxin, but not before waking up the others, including the female. Dorian, one of the friends, is able to kill the other white spikes with C4, which leaves Dan and his father to hunt the female. With some thematics and some sneaky moves, they end up killing the female and saving their future.
The fist fight at the end is what really
That was
me.
intense,
I
man.
was not, like, it was great. Don't get me wrong. An amazing fight. But I couldn't get behind. Like, you're going to fist fight
I know.
this giant alien
Yeah.
that killed literally everyone on Earth.
Yeah.
And you're just going to take it. I mean, like, Chris Pratt, no, definitely not. J.K. Simmons, I could see.
Oh, that
After
legitimately,
those,
1,000%.
like, after those pictures, I could see him taking it in a fist fight for sure. But Chris Pratt, come on.
He could do it. Yeah.
Come on. No, I'm not here for Chris Pratt.
All right, so what are your thoughts about the movie and like your overall feel?
All right, so this movie, I think, subtly took on a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Obviously, it handled the issue of global warming because that's how the aliens ended up showing up in the first place. Come to find out, they'd always been here, and global warming just unfroze them because they were frozen in the Arctic tundra.
Another reason to pay attention to all this, guys.
Yes.
You never know.
That's actually happening. Like, scientists found a what do they call it? A super virus or a mega virus.
You're right. Yeah.
It was like an actual virus, but like huge.
Yeah.
And it was a problem, like a big problem for us. If it had gotten out, like, that would have been it.
Yep.
And there's no telling if there's more of those or if there's aliens or whatever frozen up there that just over time will release themselves.
You never know.
It handled a lot of issues about like race and like different sides of the political spectrum. Like, does it really matter when you're facing extinction? Does
That's
any
true.
of this matter?
Right.
You're going to fight with whoever you can to survive. Like, none of that really matters. It talks about how the government sucks at everything, how they had a plan, they figured it out, they came back from the future to tell the government what was going on, and the government's like, we're not going to do anything about that. But as soon as they solved the situation on their own, the government was like, I acted so fast. This was my plan from the beginning, and the government just like took credit for everything. Like, it handled
Sounds
a lot.
familiar.
The time travel aspect was really unique. I appreciated it. You don't see a lot of time travel things happen that way. I wish they would have taken more time to explain that.
Yeah.
The aliens themselves were
Pretty cool.
were really cool, unique alien style. You don't see stuff like that all the time. It was really cool. And I just really appreciated the movie for what it was. I mean, it was a fun movie. It was good. The acting was pretty good. The action sequences were great. There were a few cinematic shots that were just beautiful to see.
Right.
It was a great movie. I appreciated it.
Where would you rate it out of 10?
Out of 10, I would give this one like a solid 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Solid 7.
Okay, so I had to write this down because I needed to say this clearly without, So as I'm sure you're aware, movie watching is one of my favorite hobbies.
Right.
I really enjoy watching new films. I love learning how they were made and even logging the films that I watch. I log every single film that I watch, keep track of it. And because of this hobby, I've seen a lot of movies. And with that little experience, granted, I'm not, a movie critic or a professional, movie historian or whatever.
You could be if somebody pays us for this episode.
Very true.
Technically, that makes you a professional.
So keeping that in mind, I really like sci-fi movies.
Right.
Those are usually my favorites. And also time travel movies. I really like the concept of time. Another reason why I love Chris Nolan, because he just deals with time nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with all that being said, before you gave out a really good explanation about why it was him that brought back the toxin, it was to save them in the past, that made it a little bit better. When I originally wrote down my notes, I gave it a 5 out of 10. With your explanation, I'll bump it up to a 6.
I gave it an extra point. There you go, Amazon. Look at me, getting you higher ratings.
Now, the reason why is because I don't like cheesy movies, and I don't like cheesy writing, and there was a lot of that in this movie.
For sure.
And and I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. If that's your thing, then that's fine. But for me personally, I just can't get into it anymore. Like, I cannot watch really dumb, like purposely dumb made movies. Like, Jessica loves that kind of stuff. And anytime she wants to go out, I'm like, babe, go take Melissa out, go take a friend out. I don't care, but I can't do it. So for that, and then I was really confused about a lot of the time travel stuff. So that kind of lowered a little bit more too. But saved it for me was Chris Pratt and J.K. Simmons, and really good acting. But yeah, I was a little disappointed. I feel like they also made it really big. And it felt like for what it was, it wasn't bad, but I felt like they made it more like a World War Z-esque style.
Yeah.
They didn't show a lot of the cheesiness in the trailers, and that kind of threw me off.
Fair enough. I didn't really watch a lot of the trailers. I watched like one at the beginning of something else that I was watching on Amazon Prime, and I thought, that'll be a really good movie. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
I had a blast. I didn't really have much expectation going into it, though. I just thought it'd be a fun time travel movie, and it was. I liked it for what it was. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I moved up to a 6.
I'll take the 6.
All right, guys. So we're going to transition a little bit and talk about time travel in general, because this is actually one of my favorite topics to talk about, because I love the concept of dealing with moving and being aware of time around you. So let's talk about first just time travel in movies. I found this website, and I'll put it in the show notes. But they talk about the 3 types of time travel that we generally see in movies. The first one is called single continuum, which basically the characters can change nothing. Like, no matter what you do, if you go backwards or forwards, you're not going to change anything.
Right.
So a good example of this is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
So like the theory that you travel forward in time, or you travel back in time to help yourself reach a goal, that was always going to happen, whether
it's circular.
Past you knew or not.
Yeah. So time is circular here. Whatever you do, it's just going to already prove it's what happened already.
Yeah.
So Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is another example of this. So single continuum. Next one is fixed points, which means characters can change some things. So some good examples of this is like Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who.
So do I. I stopped watching after. Was that Matt Smith?
Matt Smith. The 11th.
I need to keep going.
I got like halfway into Peter Capaldi, the 12th Doctor.
Yeah, I need to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. The Terminator is another example. So think of like Pompeii and Skynet, things that.
Did you just say Pompeii?
Pompeii, excuse me. Pompeii?
It's Pompeii.
Yeah.
You just said Pompeii.
Dude, I don't know what's up with me today. I'm sorry.
It's the allergies, bro. It's the allergies.
You. Pompeii, Skynet, basically like big events keep happening no matter what, but you can change small things.
Yeah.
That's basically it. And then lastly, the infinite alternatives. And so what this means is characters can change everything. It's basically the butterfly effect. Is one tiny change will most likely wreak havoc, cause chaos.
Avengers,
X-Men Days of Future Past, Star Trek, Flashpoint Paradox.
Right.
So basically, this is what most movies are made from. Like, hey, like you go back in time, it's going to change everything. And so
like Flash goes back in time, saves his mom from dying, and he never becomes the Flash, and Bruce Wayne ends up getting killed instead of Thomas and Martha, and they become Batman and Joker, and all kinds of like small things. Like you do one small thing, and like everything is different.
Yeah,
it's those timeline memes on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's like moves chairs slightly to the left. Then Obi-Wan's on the dark side, and Anakin is the only remaining Jedi.
Did you ever watch The Butterfly Effect with Ashton Kutcher?
Yeah, it was insane.
That movie was that. I remember
it was a ride.
I remember watching that movie when I was younger, and that movie tripped me out. I was like, "Oh, I don't like this."
I made a bad mistake.
Okay, so speaking of movies, Chris, what are your favorite time travel movies?
Okay, so you mentioned Christopher Nolan, and looking at the notes, I am surprised that you didn't put these two into your time travel favorite movies.
Okay, well, I'll explain one in a second, but go ahead.
Tenet, which I thought was really cool because it was a very unique take on time travel.
See, that's my thing, is are they actually traveling in time? I mean, they are, but it's not like they're using a machine to go backwards. Well, they are, but yeah, I guess it is. It's entropy, though. It's different, isn't it?
No. It's, by definition, time travel. They're going forward and backward in time, affecting different events in different ways.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like the physicality of it is different than any time travel movie, but it's still a time travel movie.
Yeah.
That's why I like it, though. It's unique.
It's true.
Interstellar, which is a lot about space travel, but also time travel.
Yeah.
Because you get sucked into a black hole, and apparently that's how you time travel. So there you go. I thought that was a really interesting take on that as well. Synchronic, which we mentioned in one of our previous episodes.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Time-traveling drug. Did you actually get to watch it?
Yeah, I got to watch it. It was really good.
I thought so too, man. That one was one of my favorites because, black people in time travel don't really work out too well. There's like a small window we can go. It's a very small window. I actually watched a TikTok recently. It was the truth behind the TVA.
Oh.
And the guy was like, all right, we got to go back to 1958, and I'm sorry, what year are we going back to? 1958? Nah, bro, we can't go.
We can't do that.
Yeah, we got to call Team White. It was so great.
It's horrible.
Like there's a very small window
Yeah.
as a colored person you can travel to.
Yeah.
Clock Stoppers, which was just a really fun one from like when I was a kid.
Never
I think
seen
it was
it.
made by like Nickelodeon. But
Was it like the two, wasn't it like his family or his mom and dad time travelers, or no?
so they had a watch
Okay, I
that he
remember
could
that.
stop time.
Oh, yeah.
Or he could slow time rather, and he could do whatever he wanted at regular speed, but everyone else around him is going like crazy
super
slow.
slow-mo, yeah.
And then like at the end he has to press it again and go into like ultra time, and it was crazy. Like it was just a fun movie from when I was a kid. I remember that one. And then Mr. Nobody.
I totally forgot about this film. This movie is trippy.
Jared Leto plays this guy that, like, the whole point of the movie is if you make different choices in the past, how can it affect your future?
Right.
And he lives out like 3 different timelines
Yeah.
all at the same time based on a decision as a child that he didn't even make. It happened
Right.
to him.
Right.
But you can see like the differences in what happens from one decision, like the different branches. That was also a really unique take. And that's one of my favorite things about time travel movies is the new unique ways to look at it.
Yeah, it's true. And wasn't he in that movie like the last human to die? Like, didn't it like create a way to make
a
humans?
way to make humans immortal, yeah.
Yeah.
In,
that was-
in one of the timelines, I think.
Oh, okay.
Not all of them.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was trippy. So so I didn't put down the Christopher Nolan films because I was like, of course they're my favorite.
Yeah.
But I put in Endgame. I do like their explanations
So
about
that one was more of a scientific explanation of like what we understand time travel as. Like you can go forward faster, but you can't go back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
There's a movie out there called Looper, which I really just love the story behind it, but it's got Bruce Willis. What's his name? Joseph Gordon-Levitt. He was really good in there. Edge of Tomorrow, which I think is one of the most underrated sci-fi films of all time. Basically,
was that the Tom Cruise one?
yes.
Okay.
He gets stuck in a time loop.
I saw that one. That one was good.
Yeah. Super trippy. And then the last one I actually didn't watch until just recently, called 12 Monkeys. It's like made in 1993 or 5 or something like that, but it's about Bruce Willis, and he goes back in time to basically help prevent an apocalypse. But super trippy, super dark, super
I've heard
gritty.
about it. Never watched it.
You want to buckle up for that one. It's kind of crazy.
All right.
But yeah, so those are my movies.
Okay. I'll check those out. That last one for sure. I've seen the others.
Okay, Chris, Is time travel actually even possible?
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, theoretically it is. Obviously, we haven't, to our knowledge, done it. They haven't released anything to the public anyway. I think the government is probably...
Well, there's no time travel machine that we know of.
That's the thing.
But
theoretically, it's possible.
Right.
Einstein posited this a long time ago.
Well, I'm going to explain this.
We're getting closer and closer to figuring it out.
Okay, so here, first and foremost, to understand one thing to understand about time is that time is relative. Like that's been proven. Like
yeah, absolutely.
We experience time differently no matter what. You know, like the whole saying, like time goes by faster when you're having fun. Like that's actually scientifically accurate. Your brain processes time differently based on what you are doing and what you're experiencing. But what if I were to tell you that we've already actually been able to go forward in time since 1905?
Explain.
Yeah. Okay. So you actually started touching.
Explain.
You actually already touched on it. Einstein's theory of relativity basically tells us that in order to travel into the future, all we have to do is just go into a lower gravity field relative to other people.
Right.
That's all it is. Like, so we time travel all the time by sending people out into space. So here's really cool science behind all this. So we have satellites up in space, right?
Right.
And they have clocks on them. Now, if we let those clocks just run naturally, like how our clocks down on here work, they would actually run slower. And in fact, they've actually had to adjust for that. So what happens is the GPS satellites that we have in space, they actually have to manually fix it, change it here on Earth because they will naturally up in space go slower. And so astronauts in space, it's small. It's incrementally small.
Right, but, over time, it adds up.
Right. So, theoretically, if you were to send out twins, you say one on Earth and one out in space, and they live out a whole lifetime, by the time the one that comes back from space, he will be younger than the one here on Earth.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So, time travel, like going into the future, is already been proven, and like we can do it.
Yeah, so like Interstellar, when he gets closer to one planet where the gravity is like half, then time is running by half. But when he gets to the heavier planets and gravity is like speeding up, then time is like triple.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Completely
like
100%.
1 hour to them is like 10 years to us.
So other than like the final part of that movie, like everything up into that point was super like scientifically on point.
Up until Surprise Matt Damon.
Yeah. Exactly right. If you were to go towards a black hole, time would change. You would age a lot slower. And so you come back to Earth, you would be your normal self, just like how in the movie Interstellar, when what's his name, Matthew McConaughey's character comes back, his daughter is like 80 years old, and he's still only like 30 or 40.
Yeah.
So yeah, time travel is technically possible.
I'm here for it, man. Now here's the question, though.
Yeah.
Can we go back in time?
So. Sort of. Theoretically, it is possible to do it through a black hole. I watch a lot of Neil deGrasse Tyson videos.
Oh, I watched that one too.
Yeah. And so,
like you got to go in between two black holes that are like close to, but not colliding yet.
Yeah.
And like the rip that it does in gravity, because they're both pulling like ultimate gravity upon each other. If you go like right in the middle, theoretically, that rip in space-time is a gap that you would fall through.
Right.
And then time would just, like, pass you.
Yeah.
And then when you catch back up, you're in the past.
Right. So he talks about, and that's the best way to explain it. There's ways to navigate. You would literally have to, like, navigate how to do it exactly. It's so precise that we would have to practice it and whatever, but it's theoretically possible. Now, one big problem with this is, one, we got to get close to a black hole, but even two, if you were to do it through a wormhole, which that makes it possible as well, the problem with wormholes is we can't create them, and we haven't observed any natural wormholes. Mm-hmm. So
they're all theoretical.
They're all theoretical. So it's technically possible. And something he did say, though, is that if we could travel backwards in time, we can never interact with ourselves. Like, that's not how it works.
Right.
Like, that part of it is completely 100% wrong. You are your own person. You can't go visit yourself back in time. You can't shake your own hand, nothing like that. You are there. So it's just kind of weird, but that's how he explained it.
Why not, though? Like, I don't understand that. Like, if I went back in time to, like, I time traveled to a week ago.
Yeah.
And I go to where I was a week ago, would I not be able to interact? Like, am I just not there? Like,
you're according to his science, you're not there. I don't know how it works, but
I don't like that thought at all. Which me is there then? Is it the future me or the past present me?
Exactly. I don't know. But it kind of explained a little bit in Endgame in a way. It's like, okay, you're not actually changing anything in your timeline. I think it's the same kind of concept. Is you're not actually changing anything when you time travel. It's just you are still you. You are not changing anything. So, like, if you were to change something in the past, it's not going to affect your future. Kind of scary to think about.
Know. Okay, so like, setting my stuff aside, like I can't interact with myself. Sure, I go back into the past.
Yeah,
and I kill you.
Yeah.
Do we ever start the podcast?
Okay, so that is a paradox. That does actually happen because it's just you can't really explain it. Because if you, it's like the whole kill your grandfather thing. If you kill your grandfather and you're not made, well, how will you get to the point where you can kill your grandfather in the first place?
I don't like that.
Yeah, the grand paradox.
That's almost like the bootstrap paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
Where it's like, you love this piece of music, so you go back in time to find the artist, and you keep waiting for them to write this music, and they're not writing the music. So you write the music and give it to them.
Yeah.
And then they have the music, they produce it, it becomes the biggest song ever. And then you're like, well, I love this song, but this person released it.
But I
wrote down what I know because they released it. Who wrote the music in the first place?
And I think they actually experiment with that in Doctor Who.
A couple of times.
I think it was like art or music or something like that. But yeah, that's a lot. Actually, yeah, it was music. Was it Bach or someone they interacted with?
Probably.
Yeah, it's interesting. Paradox, man. Chris, any other thoughts about time travel? Any other?
Just that it's a weird theory, and if somebody is ever like a scientist that figures it out, and they're looking for a guinea pig, don't come ask me. I want to be there. I will help you in whatever way I can, but I will not go back into the past. Not going to do it.
Not going to do it.
Not until it's been proven and it's safe, and whoever you send back first comes back a couple of times.
No side effects, nothing.
Yeah, I want to make sure. Like no radiation poisoning, nothing.
Yeah.
I'm not about time travel.
Well, yeah, me neither. I can't do it.
It's scary stuff.
All right, guys. Time travel, the Tomorrow War. Hope you guys enjoyed that. But don't leave. Don't go away. We have a whole lot more for you guys right after this.
Hey guys, this is Tim and Chris from the Always More podcast. Thank you so much for subscribing, following, rating, liking, commenting, and asking us questions. If you haven't done any of those, you're wrong and you need to.
Oh my gosh, Chris, chill. Okay, well, seriously, thank you guys so much for those who have donated to the podcast by giving at buymeacoffee.com in our link in our show notes, and it really just helps us spend more time to creating a better content for you guys to listen to, and to also just help feed our caffeine addiction.
Which we definitely do have. It's actually a real problem for us.
It is.
It's destroying our families.
It's horrible. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Back to the show.
Welcome back. I hope you're enjoying our little commercials. We work really hard on those. I know they sound the same, like we've only got 2 or 3 of them total, but we re-record those every time for you guys. We have to use the exact same tones and words and pitch and timing.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to get it right, but we do it for you.
Oh.
And also for us.
I made this for you.
But also mostly for us, because that's how you monetize an independent podcast.
We've only made like $3, dude.
Literally $3.11. And that doesn't include donations. We've received a couple of donations.
That's true.
Those are really nice.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Those are moving, warming, heartwarming.
Speaking of, if you'd like to donate to the podcast, go to buymeacoffee.com/alwaysmorepod, or just find it in our link in our show notes.
We'll put it in the show notes. Please find it.
Please.
Hashtag rockstars need money. All right, guys.
Man.
We're going to get into our next subject. Do we have music for this one?
No, not yet.
Okay.
I'm
That's all
working
right.
on
That's
it.
all right.
I'm working on it.
We'll figure it out. Our next segment is hashtag Ask Chris and Tim.
Yes.
This is where we get questions from you, our loyal viewers and audience, and we answer them.
Yeah.
They may not be the answers you want. They may not be good answers.
But they're going to be some
they're
answers. Yeah.
For sure. All right, so our first one actually comes from Michaela, a childhood friend of my family. Great family friend. If you could travel to any dimension or any period in time, where would you go and why?
Okay, so is she saying anything?
Anything goes.
Like Star Wars stuff? Because, I mean, obviously that's...
Any dimension or any period in time.
Yeah, Star Wars. Let's go.
You go to Star Wars?
Heck yeah.
I don't know, man. Like before when it was just the Force and you could be taught the Force, sure, maybe. But knowing that it's like midichlorians.
Are we really about to fight about this? Seriously? You don't want to go into that universe? Even if, look.
Bro, that is a universe torn by literally war.
Come on, man.
It is the Star Wars universe. You're jumping into the middle of a war-torn galaxy.
You get to travel a galaxy.
They have legitimate slave trade,
meet
Tim.
Wookiees.
Or
Porgs,
die.
Ewoks.
You don't speak the language.
They have universal translators. That's how they
You
talk
can't
to one
read.
another. You don't need to.
Fair enough. Reading would be pointless. But imagine, like, you get there and you just end up in the middle of Tatooine in a desert. What are you going to do?
Well, look, no, pause. Let's go back to the question.
You
here,
could end
okay?
up in a Sarlacc.
Let's go back to the question. If you can go anywhere, any dimension, any period of time, where would you go? I could pick exactly where I want to go.
Where would you go?
Huh?
Where would you go?
I would go meet up with Ray. I would go meet up with Finn. I would go meet up with those guys. Join the Resistance.
You can't fly a starfighter.
That's why I would join them for people that can fly the starfighters. Chris, are you kidding me right now?
That just seems really implausible.
What would you pick?
I would go to...
I swear to God, if you see like Lord of the Rings or something, I'm going to punch you.
No, I would go somewhere with AC. That's where I would go. Past the 1960s with AC. I would probably go to either the Marvel or DC universe and insert myself into a situation where I would be granted superpowers of some sort.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't know if I need to like make best friends with Tony Stark and have him build me an Iron Man suit, or if I could like end up in the super soldier program and get the super soldier serum. If I just go with Peter Parker on his field trip and get bit by a radioactive spider, like I don't know what I need to do. But
I mean, it's possible now with the multiverse.
I would get some kind of superpowers.
All right, fair
I'd
enough.
find
That's
somewhere
cool.
where I can get superpowers.
But still, if Marvel was you couldn't do Marvel, you wouldn't do Star Wars?
If I already had superpowers.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, whatever. Let's move on.
I'm not trying to jump into the middle of a war, man.
It's not always war.
Look, I'm already living in the middle of a war right now. And I don't like it.
But you can get to use
Imagine
the
being on the
Force.
front lines of that war.
Man, okay, whatever. Moving on.
Anyway, thank you for that question, Michaela. That was always fun.
All right, Terry, your father-in-law asked, why is Tim a Chelsea fan? So he saw my Chelsea jersey on last episode, and I've been wearing jerseys lately just because I got some new ones in. But so the reason why I'm a Chelsea fan at the moment is because of Christian Pulisic, who plays for Chelsea right now.
Fair.
I was talking to him a little bit after that, and I'm still trying to decide who my favorite English team is. I still haven't really decided. It might end up being Chelsea, but like the jersey I had was actually just a Pulisic jersey.
Tyler's favorite team is Chelsea.
Yes, I did know that. Yeah. So I don't know. I might dig in with them. Also, Zach Steffen plays for Manchester City, so I might root for them too every once in a while. But yeah, that's why I wore the Chelsea jersey.
Oh, there you go, Terry. Answers your question. All right. Last one we got for the week. Aaron, our beloved friend Aaron,
Our beloved friend
asked, if you found out there were variants of yourself, what would be the most unique one?
I loved, spoilers, guys, but I loved in Loki the alligator.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Some animal version of
Alligator Chris would be would be the best.
I think that was a perfect animal too, because it's like just vicious enough and yet still cute.
Yeah. I saw a Facebook post where it was Odin was saying, Loki, it's time you knew. You're adopted. And then it was alligator Loki, and it just says confused alligator noises. I couldn't breathe after watching or seeing that meme for like a good 5 minutes.
That's a great question, because you're like, is everyone alligators in that universe, or is it just Loki?
It's just Loki. He could be lying about being a Loki, but then again, that would make him even more of a Loki.
Oh, that's so great.
I don't know, man. That's a weird question, because like you don't know what the variant would be.
I mean, if it's truly multiverse and there's hundreds of billions of different U's, then I mean, eventually you're going to find some terrifying ones. So, yeah, I want to stick to an animal one.
Chris the Conqueror.
Ooh,
That'd be a good one.
Chris the Conqueror. I like it.
Yeah.
I dig. All right, let's move on.
That would be the variant of me where I were evil and I weren't disabilitied with mental disorders.
Oh, jeez.
Like without the depression and anxiety, I'm
rule the
coming
world.
for you. Ooh, you're lucky I'm being held down by my own depression.
I shouldn't be laughing at this.
Man, if I had that serotonin, game over.
Oh, no. Okay, let's move on before this gets more depressing. What's the next segment, Chris?
All right, so our next one is our version of the Marvel series. What if?
Yes.
I like that.
All right.
That was good.
The question is, what if the internet suddenly vanished?
Now, I'm assuming this is a world like modern time, our real world where we have the internet, and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
Like the entire internet crashes.
It's gone.
So many people would be so lost.
Yes.
Like physically.
GPS.
Like most people don't know where they're going.
No.
Truthfully. They can't exist outside of 3 miles from their home. They'd be so lost. They can't read maps.
No. You remember as a kid, like being like I don't know if you ever like went on family trips, like road trips, and you got to hold the map while your dad drove.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, my dad wasn't very good at GPS navigation. He failed land nav when he was in the military. So that was not ever on him. It was on me. I'm really good at maps. I'm good with maps. I think 90% of businesses would go under.
Yeah, real quick. Definitely. I think this
Jeff Bezos would lose all of his money, and I'm so excited for that prospect.
I feel this is very true. I feel like a lot of small businesses would really thrive, actually. Like other than like those who like only solely like depend on the internet, but those that are just local, they
Like
can make
mom
their own
and pop shops.
Yeah, those would thrive real quick.
Oh yeah, restaurants and things like that. They don't have to look up recipes. They know their craft. Like people, like craftspeople would be great.
Very
they
true.
know their craft. They know what they're doing. I don't know, man. I think people in general, like communities, would get smaller, like they used to be. They would definitely be more exclusionary, but there would be less like outright fighting and violence and all kinds of things like that.
Libraries would probably boom again.
That they would have to, libraries and bookstores, because that's people don't know things and they need to know, like, how do I cook this meatloaf? Go buy a cookbook.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's a weird thought process. I like that.
Yeah, good.
That's a fun one.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Tell us what you think would happen if the internet crashed.
Oh, good idea, Chris. I forget that we're a podcast sometimes. I forget that we're just
having these conversations.
Yeah. Guys, if you have thoughts or like opinions about this stuff, please let us know. We would love to share it and just know.
Yeah, send us a message on Facebook, on TikTok, on Instagram.
Yeah, we're on those things.
We're on the TikToks. We're on the Clock app.
All right, next up, man.
All right, so our last segment for the day. Tim's, well, actually.
Contrary to popular belief, I cannot say this word right. Don't say it. I'm going to get it right. Defibrillators.
Hey.
Defibrillators. Because I used to say it wrong a lot. Right. There's no R after the F. Defibrillators do not start a heart, but rather actually stop a heart. Did you know this?
Yeah. I found this out recently, though.
Me too.
So don't come at me.
I wonder if we watched like the same TikTok video or something.
No, I was reading.
Okay. Anyways, so you've seen the movies and the shows like where someone like they pass out and like, oh, we need to get the defibrillator over here. We need to like revive him. Yeah, that doesn't do anything to a person whose heart has already stopped at all, because it just doesn't work that way. So the reason why it doesn't work is because there's no electricity in the heart anymore. Once it's stopped, there's no electrical movement. There's nothing there for it to restart. So basically what the defibrillator does is it basically, so let me read my notes because I'm just sputtering here. So essentially, I found myself down some medical articles online and discovered that you're actually not supposed to use a defibrillator on someone that's flatlined. You're only supposed to use it on people who are going through cardiac arrest, where the heart may still be beating, but it's beating irregularly. And then you're basically stopping the heart and resetting it. You are turning it off and turning it back on.
I like that.
Yeah, that's essentially what you're doing to
Dude,
a
I'm
human
telling
being.
you, human beings are just super advanced computers with only like 10% of the programs unlocked.
Yep. So when a person flatlines, it means there's no more electrical activity happening within the heart, making a defibrillator ineffective. I saw an EMT actually say the goal is to get the patient to flatline because it makes CPR and administering drugs more effective. So essentially, when your heart is beating irregularly, it doesn't distribute all the blood as it should be. So when you use the defibrillator, it actually allows you to use CPR to help push drugs, medicine, whatever throughout the heart and to help get it started back up.
Oh, that's cool.
It is cool.
I like that. So your doctors are trying to kill you is what you're saying.
Yeah, in a way.
Technically.
They're trying to reset you is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, but I mean, if they turn you off and then don't turn you back on in time.
I mean you're going to die anyway, so might as well.
Everybody dies of something, right? There you go.
So there's my, actually.
I like that. Thank you for that, Tim.
You're welcome. It's good. It's kind of good knowledge to know. Like,
It
if you're
is.
in an emergency situation and someone's like, get the defibrillator.
His
get it
heart
over here."
stopped. Get it. Don't do that.
No, it's not going to help.
Don't
CPR.
do that.
Yeah. That's
Fair
weird.
enough. I'm here for it. All right. Well, this has been a fun episode, Tim.
It has been. It's been good.
Do you have final thoughts on the Tomorrow War, on time travel, on Loki?
Oh, guys, if you haven't seen Loki, go watch Loki. Go steal
It's good.
someone's Disney Plus account. Go watch it. Time travel is fun, man. I think it's an interesting concept. I think it's got some scary implications if we actually start trying to do it for real, like
For sure.
scary things. But in general, I think it's a really cool concept. I love watching it in movies. It's probably one of my favorite genres to watch. Yeah, nothing else than that. It's fun, easy, cool episode.
All right, man.
How about you?
No, that pretty much covered all of my final thoughts. Just, time travel is horrifying, and no one should ever do it.
No one should ever do it.
You're not God.
Just leave it alone, guys. It's like dinosaurs.
There's
Just
no
stop.
reason to play God. Like, let time go. Live your life, enjoy it. Don't bother about time traveling.
Just let it go.
That's all I got. All right, guys. Thank you
man.
so much for joining our podcast. Thanks for listening. Like, rate, subscribe, all of that stuff.
the fun
You know what
things.
to do. Find us on all your favorite social medias and everything. Send us messages. Ask us questions. We love you. Peace.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Always More podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, share, like, and rate on whatever your platform of preference is. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Always More Pod and ask your question using hashtag AskChrisAndTim. If you'd like to support the podcast and feed into Chris and Tim's caffeine addiction, you can do so at buymeacoffee.com/alwaysmorepod. For further information and to contact Chris or Tim, you can email them at alwaysmorepodcast@gmail.com.